Are you aware of how your angels and guides are working overtime as we've officially now just entered the age of intuition? And do you know how to speak spirit? My name's Sonia Choquette. I am filming this week from my hotel room because I'm traveling. So sorry for the hotel room, but I thought it was more important just to get the message out than to postpone it because it didn't have a good background. This week, we are talking about how your angels and guides are starting to communicate with you in this age of intuition, and because our energetic field is evolving and changing rapidly. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I actually think your angels and guides brought you here. And if you're not new, welcome back, because we are collectively working together to become truly comfortably grounded, empowered, highly integrated, multidimensional beings. That's a mouthful, but what it basically says is, I'm an intuitive person. I trust my vibes. I have angels and guides who help me. I'm a manifester, magical manifester, and that's my actual natural way of being. So today we're going to talk about understanding how angels and guides work with you, because there's a lot of misconception about that. You know, we're so used to, so many of us, by just our conditioning and our education, that the way life works is authority figures tell you what to do. And then you apply that same kind of trained, ingrained expectation onto your angels and guides. It doesn't work that way. What's actually happening is that your angels and guides are training you to recognize you're the boss. This is your life. You determine it. You create it. You direct the outcomes of your life by how you consistently and how consciously you use your energy. And then your angels and your guides are your helpers, because the whole point of this age of intuition and this transmutation, and we're talking about eclipses and fire horse energy, and oh my God, astrologically, we've never had this lineup before and the world is changing. Hold on and be careful. Well, I want to kind of dispel all that drama and make it real clear and easy and comfortable for you to know that what's the biggest change that's going on right now is that you are recognizing, or being invited, or honestly made to recognize, that you are quite a divine being, a powerful, guided, spiritual being who is informed by far more than your logic brain, far more than your not working that well physical senses, that you are guided, supported, assisted as a divine being to create your life using your energy, using your consciousness, using your focus, using your intention, following your heart, living congruently. Now that's a whole different ballgame, and that's what is so radical. Now, for those people who are used to being stuck in your head, checked out, unconscious, not self-reflective, don't care, completely irresponsible about how you affect others, and completely unavailable to really kind of examining how life is affecting you, this could be quite a dramatic and upheaval sort of time. But frankly, the fact that you're on this channel tells me you're not one of those people. Now, you may have some uncertainty, and you may have some resistance and some fears and lack of clarity, which we will work on clearing up. But you are not someone sitting as sort of like a sitting duck for a big upheaval. That is not what's going to happen, but what will happen, and how you can make this a time that works really well for you, is that you are going to become absolutely clear about what is not working at a deep level for you in this lifetime. in this moment in time. What is not working for you? Whether you're used to showing up and performing and being what you think other people want, you don't even know how to be something else, or you're suffering scenarios and abuses of people who just are so wrong and so abusive for you, or whether you're shoving down your inner knowing that you have talents that you've somehow been invited to doubt, when in fact they're insisting, these inner talents are insisting that you pay attention and express them. That's why this period of time for a lot of people might be uncomfortable and might even feel to your ego a bit threatening. I also think that there's a lot of noise in the world that is threatening. Like, oh my God, never saw this before. This is so scary. Hold on. I hope it works out, which I don't appreciate and I don't think you should fall prey to either. It's really about that this is the time in our reality where people are being given their power back, but we have to learn to use it. And the core power is this connection to your spirit and the revelation that you have an entire divine support system available to help you live a truly empowered, divinely guided life. So step number one is you have to want that. So I'd even put in the comments now, are you ready for that? Which means you have to pay attention, get honest, be congruent, check in. Ask yourself if you are acknowledging what isn't working for you instead of denying it or pretending you're not feeling it, because everybody is feeling it. For example, I have a client, an interesting client I've worked for, I've talked to off and on for over a decade. She's been married to a man for 14 years that has been, on the surface, nice guy, travels a lot for a living, is away, they have no kids, and he's pretty decent with her, but has kept himself unavailable for any sort of real deep conversation, doesn't reveal much, keeps things surface. And she said, for the longest time, I have felt like something about this is very controlled, very fake, and then I'm going along with it. And she said, recently, I received a call from Nebraska, where he travels a lot. He's in Colorado. And she said, I was contacted by a woman who said that her husband has been in a 6-year relationship with him and that she has just had a baby and she wanted her to know, and 2, wanted him to divorce her because she needed him in her life. Now here's what's interesting. And this is where my client was really, really in a kind of an enthusiastic state. She said, you know, Sonia, I wasn't shocked. I knew. I have felt it for the longest time. But here's the interesting thing. I knew that I was agreeing to being in this kind of fake or superficial or not really profoundly authentic marriage because he was good to me. I lived a comfortable life. And I actually wasn't that motivated to be closer to him. So it wasn't like this was shock and awe. It was like not surprised. So instead of going into, how dare you, what a betrayal, victim energy, I just very calmly told him, this is what I'm aware of. I am no longer willing to be in this triangle relationship with you. And what I want is the life I have. And you can divorce me and be gone. Go live the full other life. And she said, I wasn't even upset. I was relieved. Because it wasn't like this was happening to me. I was cooperating, but I knew in my spirit I wasn't willing to cooperate anymore. And surprisingly, he agreed. First, he tried to deny it a little bit. I think he was embarrassed at getting caught, but I asked him, aren't you relieved? This is ridiculous. This is stupid. People's lives are being affected, and I don't want mine to be trashed. So guess they're in the course working it out. But isn't it interesting that this is how your angels and guides are working with you? They will help you. She said, I really felt surrounded by my angels when I got that call. And at first my ego was really thrown, but this angelic force around me was like, this is what you've been waiting for. You've known this all along. And that's the kind of awareness I want you to check in with and know this is how your guides and angels help you. They don't force you into something. They're not going to give you answers like your parents or your teachers or your bosses or whoever you thought when you had to answer to or took charge of you. This is your take charge of your life. Really acknowledge that you are far more aware than perhaps you've been acknowledging or admitting or recognizing, because you've been trained to disregard how your inner self knows, how your intuition is working, how your angels and guides are pointing things out to you. So here's the keys in terms of how to start living in this new multidimensional empowered era that everybody's behaving so ridiculously overreactive to. Decide I'm going to be empowered. I am going to use my intuition. I am going to access my guidance and my support system, but I'm in charge. That's the key. That's what this whole fire horse energy is about. I'm in charge. I'm directing where we're going, and I'm going to be more honest. So that's step one, be more honest. If something feels wrong, it's wrong. If something feels off, it's off. And be calm about it and investigate deeper. Keep asking your inner self, is it me? Because like with my client, she said, I knew it was off. I knew I was cooperating because I was comfortable. I chose comfort over truth, and I knew I'd reach the end of that road. So be honest. Examine your own self-awareness first. Your guides and angels will help your spirit, but they're not going to help your ego, and they're certainly not going to help any gaslighting that you are cooperating with or putting on yourself. You have to be truthful. Secondly, be patient, because your angels and guides will show you step by step the next step. Like even with my client, she said, I don't know what the future is going to hold. I know that my guides and angels are helping me and assuring me that I am safe, I am secure, and that growth is messy, but won't be worse than what I've been doing, which is completely betraying myself. That's what this era is about. Alignment, congruency, patience, not letting your ego say, well, unless I know what's going on, then we got to stop. You need to enter a bit of mystery. It's like, I don't know what's happening, but it feels like I'm going to be okay. I've got to let go. That's another very threatening stance for the ego, but it's important for the spirit to guide you. It's like, how guidable are you? You know, if you're tight butt and rigid and resistant, controlling and in denial and checked out, this is not going to be a fun transformation for you. It's going to be bam, 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 kind of breaking down all these rigid resistances and walls to the divine spirit, the creator that you are, and aligning you in integrity. That means to be unified field, to be whole. So don't be scared. Don't be dramatic. Don't be a victim. Be present. Be curious. What do I really feel isn't working? Start there. What am I cooperating with or agreeing to that I carry on with because I don't have an alternative in mind? A lot of people are feeling it's time to move, or it's time to quit my job, or it's time to end this relationship, but they don't know what's on the other side of that. And guess what? You're not going to be shown. You just have to go step by step and say yes to what isn't working, what no longer resonates, and then your guides will step in and point you in the direction of what is. I have another beautiful client who said that she was really clear that she needed to move, and that where she was languishing, but she had the most beautiful cat who is quite, not totally old, but like maybe 12 years old. And She said it was a feral cat she had basically eventually tamed, but it was very fragile. And she said, my kitty will never, ever make the move. So she had been struggling because she knew she had to move. But this cat her life. She had no kids, no partner. That was her companion. And I understand that. They're unconditionally loving. Well, I said, well, just prepare. Just do what you can to prepare and cooperate without knowing how this is going to work. Well, yesterday she wrote me and said, I was taking my cat to go have a dental operation because of a mouth infection. And in the process, my kitty died. And she said, you know what? I know he died so I could go. It wasn't like it was a big sacrifice. He was pretty done, not only with his life, but with me being in so much anguish. So she said, I'm surprisingly at peace about it. I know I can go now. And I know that what I could learn with this particular animal, which taught me a lot, patience and devotion and how to love and how to be present, but now I'm free. So don't be surprised if some elements like that, and I'm sure some of you are thinking, oh, that's the most horrible thing, but not really. She said, my kitty was ready to go. I knew that it was no fun hanging out with me, and the kitty was in pain and wasn't enjoying this dimension. So you definitely have to have the spiritual perspective and not just the ego perspective that all that is the physical world. Your angels and guides are helping you. They give you consistent feelings instead of a lot of words. They will repeat their messages often in symbols, often in repeating numbers, often in feathers on the ground, downloads, sudden flashes. You might see something traveling on a bus or a wall or a book falls off. That's how they speak to you. And I'm sure that if you're listening, you've had enough of that to know that, okay, I got that. You're just used to dismissing it perhaps or being told to dismiss it. But they're not going to tell you what to do. They're more like saying, here's your opening. There's the door. Time to go. Get ready. Let go. Trust. I mean, that's how guidance comes. So what I want you to do right now is start bringing that guidance forward as your new normal. First way to do that is I want you to write in the comments right now what your guidance is telling you and how you're experiencing it. My gut is telling me, or it's just a feeling that follows me, so that you understand how your angels, guides, and higher self are working to bring you into congruency, to live an empowered life. So it's for you to take the risk and go into a bit of the unknown, to start acknowledging this energetic experience. It's real, but it's unique to you. Someone might get the gut feeling. Another person might say, I have a dream. Another one says, it's just a presence I can't quite sense. Another one says, I see symbols and signs that keep reminding me. So it is not someone talking in your ear in long sentences. You can learn this. That is what the Age of Intuition is about. But none of this is going to really land until you're ready to be honest, let go of what isn't working, and be willing to do whatever it takes to move back into alignment, knowing that that will create a far better experience than anyone that you're having that is not in alignment. So write down first what you know isn't working, or what you know you should lean into. I know I need to move, or I know this marriage is at its end, and I know I need to grow, and I know I can't be dependent on others, and I know that I have talents, and I need to start using them and be less reluctant or approval driven. You know. And you don't have to know everything. Just start with the first thing I know. One thing I know. Put it in the comments, and then ask your guides. Starting with your higher self, ask your guides, what's the first step? And then put that in the comment after, because you'll get it. Just don't take a long time. Just write down whatever comes first, because that first is accurate. So let's get this going for you. The age of intuition is started, and this is how it operates. And it'll work for you. Don't make this complicated. Stay out of your head. Don't look for other people to be your authority, including your angels and guides, but your higher self is. That deeper inner self that says, you've got this, you can live a life that matters and works for you. But you got to do a lot of things differently. And it could be a bit messy. So that's what we have to work with now. Put it in the comments. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe. If this has been helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Please comment, because that's the part that's going to help you most immediately. Tell your friends. It's better to work in this kind of evolutionary shift of transmutation and living differently if you're not alone. Now, for extra help, I have a book called Ask Your Guides. It gives you the way guides work with you. And if you're not a reader, I have it on audio. And if you feel like, oh, this is a little bit weird, I can't do this by myself, join my community, the Good Vibes Tribe. The link is here, and it will give you a whole community, plus me, and a whole support system. Plus I bring in my guides every month, every day, so that you are starting to be in a new normal, or following your intuition and being helped and being clear and having things open up very synchronistically, which means magically, couldn't have figured that out, becomes your new normal. That's what this transformation is about and what you're being invited to participate in. So if you've been brought here, join, 2 feet in. Subscribe, thumbs up, join the tribe, read the books, learn, because this will empower you and take that stress, uncertainty, victimy, out of control, anxiety, way down and out. See you next week. All my love.